So this is the actual data set, and this is the metadata. So today's session is about data structure. So I want to open this metadata first. Okay, so to make it easier for you to see, I'm going to delete some of the rows, and then okay. I'm going to delete these one as well, and delete these rows. Oops. Okay. So this metadata tells you, this data set has 3 dimensions. The first is geography. The second one is the government sectors or the levels of governments. So you will have federal, provincial, and municipal, I believe. And then you will have the actual accounts. So it's 3 dimensions. And when you see dimension ID first, and then you will see geography has only one value, which is Canada. So really, we have only 2 dimensions. If you look at the second dimension, dimension ID number 2, you will see federal, provincial, local, and CPP and QPP. So this is very, very special. So these are the pension plans for the government, for the public servants, basically. And consolidated governments is everything combined. So after this, you will see the actual accounts. So these are all accounts. They look a little different from Sumi, the database. I'm going to show you how to get it using Python. So just don't worry. I'm just showing you the data structure first. Okay. All right. Yeah, I will. I will share the Excel file later. Yeah, somebody is already sharing the website, so you can download it yourself. All right. So the data structure is quite simple, but with this understanding, I'm going to show you the actual data. So this is the actual data. It's a CSV file. The right way to open CSV is not just clicking it open, and then you will see the data in Excel. So this is a smaller data set. What if the data set has like 12 million rows? You wouldn't be able to see it, and you wouldn't be able to open the Excel, or you will open Excel truncated. So the right way to open this, usually you have WordPad. If you don't, you could download maybe Notepad++. This is free. So I'm going to use Notepad++. So you will see the data look like this. All right. So just to show you the actual data set, I'm going to just get maybe 20 rows. So copy. Let me close this. Let me open a blank Excel. Wait. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna paste this, and you can very quickly use text to column to separate into different columns. So if you click next, and this is comma separated, so you will uncheck this and check this, and then click finish. All right. So I want to show you something. I'm going to highlight this coordinate. And all Stats Canada dataset follow this rule. So you see there are 2 dots in each value. So I'm going to open up 2 columns. So I will separate, this coordinate into 3 columns. So I'm going to use text to column again and click text. And instead of comma, I will use dot. All right. So now I click finish. Wait a minute. Do I have? Okay, just to be safe, let me just insert 1 more column. So let's do this again. Right. So what I meant to say is the first digit of the coordinate is actually the geography dimension. So that means Canada, all right? So this is the first dimension. And the second dimension is actually the government sector. So this is consolidated. So this means if I use different color, this is the government sector. This is the government sector. And the third dimension is the accounts. So this is the third dimension. So these, you can use the value here as the geography ID. And this one is the government ID. And this one is the account ID. Okay. So because of that, we don't really need these. We don't need. We need none of it. Oh, my bad. We actually need the date. So if I change the format of date to short date, let me just change this to date. So we will need this, but we don't need all of this, none of it. And we need to know all the numbers are million. So I'm going to delete the columns we don't need. Okay, so we will not need these. We will only need this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So some of you may ask, how do we know, what this ID means? We can always go back to the metadata, remember? So we have this, So I actually took the time to separate them into, different dimension tables. So I'm going to show you the dimension table. I will update to the Zoom meeting later on. And this is the dimension table. So you can see this is the accounts, and the account row up to account subgroup, and account subgroup row up to account group. So this is the account group. Account group will row up to the statement. So this is actually 4 levels of 1 dimension, which is account. And the other dimension is the government and government ID. So this makes the data really, really simple. And all you need to do is to manipulate, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Okay. So now I'm going to Python. So we have 2 links, and the first one is the Stats Canada, and you will use this link to get the data manually, but we're not going to get data manually. We'll use the Python library of Stats Canada to get the data automatically. And later on, we can run the same script within Power BI, and that will fully automate the process, okay? So first of all, I'm going to show you this documentation. So what we'll need to do, we will need to install the StatsCan, package, and then we will instantiate, the project like this. So several things we will need to do. We will need to install StatsCan package, and we will instantiate the project, and then we can read the table from StatsCan, the website, into Python, and we'll start from there. So now I'm going to demonstrate. So first and foremost, and we will use pandas to manipulate the data. I'm going to, number one, import pandas library. So this should be really simple. Import pandas as PD. So we give pandas a nickname. So later on, we can reference pandas as PD. So we can run it. So this should run. And as we said, we need to install the StatsCan package. So install stat package, and we can copy from here. We should type a question mark, and we can run this. I already installed, so you will see requirements already satisfied. So next, we'll need to instantiate a StatsCan object. Remember, we have this table. So the table serial number is this, and the table's name is Statement of Canada Operations and Balance Sheet, Government Finance Statistics. So what we'll need to do is we can just copy from here. Wait a minute. I'm jumping ahead. Oh, we will need to create a file in working directory. So I learned everything from this documentation. So I'm going to copy this first. And let me see. So we're going to see this file created. So let me just copy this first. Okay, so I'm going to run this. And my working directory is downloads. So you already see, wait a minute. And let me see if it's running. Yeah, it runs. Okay, I guess I wanted to, read in the data first. It will create this file. So the next one is we'll read in a table. Read in a table from Stats Canada to a pandas data frame. Now I can copy the name of the table and also the number of the table. So this is the number of the table. What we'll need to do, again, let's refer to the documentation. It should be something like this, right? We just need to change the table number to this. You see how easy it is to download the data. Let's run this, and it's downloading. And it's a small data set, so it doesn't take that long. So after this, you could just, check. The data. So you see the first 5 rows of the data. So like I said before, we don't need, all the columns. In fact, we need only 3 columns. So before we split coordinate, we only have reference date and coordinate and value, right? So we only need 3 columns. So if we go back here, what we need to do next is select 3 columns from a pandas data frame. So now it's time, assuming my Python skill is very, very basic. So I really want to ask ChatGPT how to do this. So I'm going to just type the question and send. So Python is trying to reconstruct the problem, and then they will give you the answer, right? So it's more like this. df is more like this. So we can do this as well. Right. So we'll do something different. So we'll use we'll do this. So we can choose the 3 columns within a square bracket, and then we can look at the first 5 columns again. So you see, so now we get only 3 columns. So what we need to do next is we'll split 1 column coordinate into 3 columns. Let's type split 1 column into 3. Zoom in, please. Okay, sorry. Okay, I hope you can see it better. Zoom is screaming. Okay, split 1 column into 3 columns. And what else? What should we use? We're using the dot delimiter. All right. So once again, we can just copy this question to ChatGPT. So it's using string split. It's right here. Okay, good. So we can copy this back to Jupyter Notebook. So what we'll need to do, we are going to give the 3 new columns names. So this should be geography ID, geography ID. The second one should be government ID. What's the third one? The third one is account ID. So we are gonna split coordinate, right? Let's check the rest of them. Yes, so let's run this. We can check again, DF. Awesome. So you see, we just split coordinate into 3 columns. Oh, we just, it is. Let me rerun this. Let me rerun everything. All right. See, we got the header or the column name right. So what we need to do next is we will delete. We don't need this anymore because we already separate them. What else we don't need? We actually don't need geography ID. We only have one geography, that's Canada. So we will delete 2 columns. So let's just type delete 2 columns from pandas data frame in place. I will explain in place right after, but let's just copy this question to Chat GPT. So every single time Chat GPT will reconstruct the problem first before it provides you with the solution. So basically, this is the solution, right? So let's go back to Jupyter Notebook. So all we need to do, we don't need coordinate anymore. And we don't need geography ID. All right. So if we drop in place, meaning you're going to change the data frame. And if you don't put in place equal to true, it will show you a copy of that table, all right? So otherwise you can do df equal to df. So if I put in place equal to true, I don't have to do df equal to, okay? So let me just run pet again. Let's run this. So this is exactly what we want, all right? So let's go to the next step. What we need to do is let's reorder them. Oh, in fact, we can rename them, okay? Let's rename them. Let's rename 2 columns in a pandas data frame, again in place. So let's go ask ChatGPT. Right. So basically, oh, stop. This is the answer. Right. Come back. So rename. So we need to replace what we don't want ref date. So I'm going to change ref date to date. And we don't want all uppercase value. I'm going to change this to the proper format. All right, let's double check it. Yeah, it's correct. So let's also do a df add. All right, so now everything looks right. Now we can reorder the column. So we could have date, government ID, account ID, then the value. So we have 3 dimensions and 1 measure. So we can type reorder 4 columns in a pandas data frame. Once again, I'm going to ask ChatGPT how to do it. Oh, so this is really easy. So we can just copy this and go back to Jupyter Notebook. So we just need to write down the column names in the order we want, right? So we want what? We want date. We want government ID second, and account ID third. And last column being value. All right, so we can check again. Oops, what happened? The order EF is correct. Oh, sorry. All right, so now everything looks right. Now we need to check the data type. How to check data type? Find data types of 4 columns. I guess we have to say pandas how to, or you know what? Find data types of the pandas data. Right. Where is it? DF types. I think you can just put D types after DF, right? So we can go back and we can type DF and D types. All right. So date is in the right format, it's date time, and value is the right format, it's float. But government ID and account ID, it says object. So we need to change the data types. So next we need to, oops. Change data types of 2 columns to integers. Okay, so how do we do that? Let's ask ChatGPT. I guess I didn't mention the context, but ChatGPT knows it's Python, pandas data frame. That's very good. So we just need to do this, right? All right, let's go back. So first we need to change, wait a minute, we could do two at the same time, I think. So we could do government ID. So this would be government ID. What we can do is we can put, we need to put square bracket, and then we can separate them with comma. And the next one is account ID. And then we'll do the same. So this is square bracket. And we put account ID. This should run. And after this, we can do the type again. Oh, government ID, account ID. Oh, all right. So it's all correct. Now, the last step we should do is export this. So we can export this to CSV. So export and the data frame to CSV. All right, it's right here. So ChatGPT is really, really useful. All you need to do is type df to CSV. You know, I'm in my current working drive, so I can just simply put this. What we can do is I will use the serial number down here. Yeah, let's run. Okay, let's go check. So we have the data here. If we use Notepad, you should see. All right, it's beautiful. This is before we manipulate, and this is after. All right, so that's all. Python is really easy and very, very convenient. But now I'm going to show you the magic. We can actually run Python within Power BI. There is the documentation. I sent you the link. So run Python script in Power BI desktop. What we need to do, let me just do the demo. It's really, really easy. You have to make sure you go to pandas, anaconda it's right here. And you need to cd ... and cd ... go to C drive. And then what you need to do is run a very simple script. It looks like this. It says program files, Microsoft Power BI Desktop, main, and PBI Desktop exe. So you just need to instantiate Power BI within Anaconda prompt. So before I run that, I will need to exit Power BI. Just give me a second. I have my Power BI open. Let me close it. Maybe I can have two. Let me try. Oh, what happened? So you will see this will bring up Power BI. Just wait a second. See, it's running. Okay, so as you can tell, this is a brand new Power BI. It's blank, completely blank. And all you need to do is click transform data. Just give me a second. I think I have. All right. Okay, so you can go in transform data. So it will bring up Power BI, Power Query Editor. So on the left-hand side, you have queries, and now you have 0 query. You can just right-click and click New Query and go to More. And search for Python. So you see Python script and click Connect. Okay, so you will just need to copy paste those scripts from Python. I'm not going to copy one by one. I already have them all together. Oh, wait, not this one. Let me just, okay. If you recall, we simply did these. So we import pandas as PD, and then from Stats Canada, we import the package, right? And then we read in the table from Stats Canada to pandas data frame. And then we just keep 3 columns. And then what did we do here? We split coordinate into 3 columns. And then we drop the 2 columns we don't need. And then we rename 2 columns, ref date to date and value to value, from all uppercase to proper. And then we reorder the columns. And last, we change the data type of government ID and account ID into integer. So after this, you will need to print the data frame, or you can simply type df. So if I click OK, you should see magic. I hope this is going to run. It should run. If the data set is not huge, this should run. And this is where you see the beauty of Python and how you can incorporate Python within another application such as Power BI. Oh, it's still running. Just give it some time. Oh, it's still running. Let me check if we have any questions. We have some random questions. Okay, essay, correct me. Thank you. All right, almost. We should see the data frame here when it's done. Okay, almost. There we go. So if I check DF, now I should see data in Power BI. Isn't that beautiful? You see, everything is embedded in this one step. If I click this gear, you see, just simple, very simple Python scripts. You're able to get data from Stats Canada, and you're able to manipulate the data and transform, clean it up, transform the data into the format you want. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Because of the time limit, I want to show you how it look like when we finish it. I'm just changing to the other Power BI file I have it open. My computer is running slow for some reason. Come on. Oh. You know what? Let me just close Python, if you don't mind. Python usually takes up a lot of memory. Let me close up Python. Close. Come on. If you don't mind, let me close this as well. You already see it. All right. So I finally have this completed PBIX file open. Just so you know, let me just go inside our transform data again. It looks nice, isn't it? But it's not running. Murphy's law, when you need it the most, it's not working. Oh, you want to save your change. I think it's the other one. Don't save. Geez, I probably closed the wrong one. Let me close this. What? Close the wrong. All right. Let me open this again. Sorry for the hiccup. So did I call this government finance? All right. If I go inside transform data, and you remember, I just renamed this to value, but you can tell this is the same data I got, from running this Python script, right? And then I imported the other dimension table. And then I collect them into a powerful data model. You see, this is the data I got from Stats Canada website using Python script. And these, I got them from the metadata. So after I collect them, I will be able to visualize everything I need. And this is just very simple dashboard. It shows you government finance in 32 years. We do have 32 years of data, and you can see all the way. If I go to value, all the way from 1990 to 2022, I believe. Yeah, 2022, October. So it's pretty recent. Now, I have this column chart, and if I, move it, if I go to different year, you can see this is all government. It includes the federal, provincial, local, CPP, and QPP. So you also see the full level of government over here. So this, you can see revenue on the x-axis and expenses on the y-axis. And as you can tell, if revenue is lower than expenses, the current year you will have deficit, and that will add to the net worth, right? So if you look at the net worth, it's amazing. This CPP is positive, this is positive, and this provincial government is positive. But if you look at federal government, is negative. Even Power BI doesn't know how to show negative. The size of the bubble means how much net asset you have, right? So because it's negative, it will just show a small little dot, right? So if I go to the more recent year, you see, our federal government is always running with a deficit. And this is the total expenditure by year. You can see the 3 years we had COVID, there's a lot more spending. And you could also see the tree map, the breakdown of the revenue. Obviously, taxes on income, profit. So our government tax the business and citizens and individuals. And the second biggest source is HST and then other revenue. And the biggest expenses is compensation for the employee. I think everybody knows the federal public servants are going on strike now. So this is going to get bigger. It's already the biggest, and it's going to get bigger. So this is really good information. You can see the net worth is always negative. In fact, if I choose federal, and then you will see just one dot the whole time, right? Right. And I want to show you another table. So this is not an error, only because I didn't play. So I just want to show you first. This is again government finance. I used two custom visuals. So one of them is called Zebra BI, and it is a great tool that you can use to visualize financial data. And the other one is called Play Access. That's this guy. So if I start playing, and you will see the financial data in 32 years is like watching a movie. This is crazy. I think some of you, if you understand finances, you will really, really like it. And this is not complex at all. So if you want, you can schedule some one-on-one sessions that can show you how to make it. But I'm telling you, if you know how accountants used to do report, they use probably, let me just pause here. So every, I can pause, okay. So usually every year you have a set of financial statements. You have income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. For even this data is actually at the quarter level. So if we have 32 years and 4 quarters, so 32 by 4, that's 32 by 4, that's 128, right? Periods. And you have 3 statements. So you so government financial look a little different. So this is just like income statement, and this is balance sheet, and this is like adjustment, how you can go from the balance sheet to from income statement to balance sheet. So this is crazy amount of information. You have 3 statements. You have 32 years, and every year has 4 quarters, and you have 4 levels of government, and plus you can report by quarter to date and year to date, and all of these can be done with just one simple little dashboard. And how rich this report is. Can you see? You can see the charts, and you can see the tables, and you see the current year versus, this is the actual versus previous year, and you can see the difference. You can see the difference percentage for every quarter. This is just crazy amount of information presented in such a beautiful way. So we are running out of time, but I wish using this simple demo, you learn how to get data using Python, because Python is just the best tool for you to scrape information from other website, using API. And some people mention Tableau is your best bet. I personally, like Power BI better, and it is more powerful. It's more powerful because it has Power Query, a little ETL tool within Power BI, and you can do data modeling like this, and you can do a lot of custom visuals. And with this, you will be able to answer a lot of questions, from senior management, or from any party who has interest, in the company's financial performance. In fact, I heard some companies, they actually use Stats Canada data to test the candidates. So if you're interested, please contact me, contact WeCloudData, and we are able to provide you with the Python script. We can also, give you the PBIX file, so you can try and reproduce the dashboard yourself. This whole exercise took me just a couple hours, from testing, trial and error, but it's nothing complex. But if you can finish this work, end to end or automate it, I forgot to mention, that Stats Canada keeps updating, right? So let's say we have another quarter. When we finish the year 2023, and then all this data will be updated. To update the report, what do we need to do? It's very simple. We just press the refresh button, and it's going to rerun the Python script. We're getting some error. This is because every single time I run this, I have to instantiate. Let me just pronounce this correct. Instantiate Power BI within Anaconda prompt. I have to go to Anaconda prompt and bring up the Power BI within the Anaconda environment. Then you will be able to rerun the Python script, get the updated information, and update the Power BI dashboard. And it's amazing. Somebody commented Power BI itself is also available on Mac. That is not correct. So Power BI runs on Windows, but you can create a Windows environment on Mac, using some kind of container or shell, and then you can install and run Power BI. Any questions? Okay, so 1 hour is up. I hope everybody has had a good time. Once again, my name is Eric, and if you want to get the raw file, the completed project, by all means, reach out to me. And if you want to talk about yourself and your career pathing, I'm happy to assist as well. But this is just a very simple demo. If you want, we can get into more detailed discussion, what is just one best way to learn the most popular data tool and how to become a successful data scientist, data analyst, data engineer. I thank you very much, Shawa, for all these useful links, and I encourage every one of you just copy paste these links. And WeCloudOpen, we have launched quite some free courses end of last year and beginning of this year. So you can already learn a lot, fundamental skills. You can build a really good foundation. But if you really want to break into this promising data space, I think you still need to do some more complex, larger industry-grade project, and then you can have a convincing, portfolio to showcase and convince the hiring manager that you can do the job. All right, so that's it for today. I wish everyone a very pleasant weekend, and let's remain connected. Thank you.